Gunnarsson. Albert skorar! Albert Gunnarsson hefur skorað. Ragnar Bergjesson skotið mark! Glæsilega! Óskar Rafn á móti Bjarna. Og Bjarni með góða sendingu fyrir og Haraldur Ingvarsson!
Hello and welcome back to the best of pod
Ever.
I am Ragnar and I am joined as per usual by
I am Tryggvi.
I am joined by I am Tryggvi and we are here to talk about the I am best of Dildin. Some things to discuss that have happened. We have a full round and one extra game, a postponed game, a drama game, if you will.
Yeah, we did.
Which will be discussed. But let's go over the results of round 19, as it were, in somewhat of a macro fashion. Let's start with the top of the table, shall we?
Yeah.
Vikingur goofing,
Yeah.
and Breiðablik capitalizing upon said goof. So IA beat Vikingur 2-1, and Breiðablik beat Fram 3-1. Which puts Breiðablik and Vikingur level on points, 40 each. Both played 19 games, both on 12 wins, both on 4 draws, both on 3 losses. Vikingur with 44 goals scored, Breiðablik with 43, Vikingur with 21 against, Breiðablik with 22. So almost identical form there.
Yeah.
Breiðablik playing a little bit of catch up, Vikingur slipping up. How do we feel about the top there? And then let's not forget Valur. Give them an honorary mention at the top here. But Valur drew against FH, putting them on 32 points. I mean, yeah, I say honorary mention because they're no longer in the discussion when we're talking about the top of the table, I think.
No, they're out. We can quickly go through the Twitter poll we had for it. We asked our fans if Valur are out of the title race. 79% said yes.
Yeah.
That's being maybe a bit generous to Valur.
I mean, 21% chance of them being in the title race. I mean, it's not a 21% chance of them winning. A 1 in 5 that they they put up a fight. I don't know. No, I don't even think that's fair.
No, I think they're out. But Breiðablik stepped up, like you said. Vikingur maybe taking their eye off the ball. Arnar Gunnlaugs before the game against Santa Coloma, he said that, prefacing with no disrespect to Breiðablik, which obviously knows where that's headed.
Yeah.
He said nobody's ever been in this position before. Top of the table in a cup final and going into trying to compete for European group stages or league stages as it is now.
Yeah.
We sort of said Breiðablik was out of the race last year, and we're still in everything. And yeah, that might be starting to take a toll now. They had to rotate. I mean, Vikingur rotated side is still pretty good, but it meant starting a 40-year-old Óskar who played well. But yeah, I think I would imagine their eyes are on Europe while Breiðablik is fully on the league, and I think it shows a little bit.
Yeah, but excuses are excuses. And true champions win the treble, right?
So they're going to win the Conference League?
Yeah, of course. Of course they are, if they're true champions. But our other listener question was, in fact, will Breiðablik catch Vikingur? And it was 41% of people said yes, 59% said no. I guess those 59% are going to tell us that Breiðablik are still actually 2 goals off of Vikingur's goal difference, so have not caught them. But it was quick work by Breiðablik. Yeah, I mean, I guess now is the time where we see whether Vikingur sort of divided attention means that they drop the ball in the league or not. But I don't know how I feel about excuses like that, if I'm being honest. Making it through to those stages and deeper into Europe and the cups and what have you, if you're biting off more than you can chew there, then that's also an indictment of you, I think. So it does. I don't know. It doesn't strike me as a flex to say like, oh, look, I'm doing all these things. Look how I'm doing poorly over here because I'm stretching myself too thin. Like, it's not a flex for me. It makes you look, and to say it like this, I don't know. It seems weak. I don't like it.
No, I also think, I mean, cup is always a bonus. I think cup is, one of those things that's, we're not talking about I mean, it is the milk cup. So it is, a storied cup. But it's, I mean, nobody's going to remember that in 20 years. It's going to be the league in Europe, especially Europe. So the cup is a bonus. But yeah, I mean, surely when you assemble a team like that, it's to win the league and go far into Europe. So I think we're looking at a team like Valur that did neither of those things, and that's a huge disappointment. But like only did half of those things, and I think there is going to be some disappointment there. You can go to this is where they need to be if they want to be building something long term.
Yeah.
So I agree. This is just comes with a job title, and I mean you bring back people like Aron Elís and Jón Guðni and all these sort of guys from the professional leagues. This is what they're here for, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So poor interview performance in my opinion, but I guess he's doing what he feels he has to do. So Valur are out, but this kind of lets us transition to the middle of the table because IA did beat Víkingur, like we said, which kind of leaves them safe. They're almost equal in points with Valur, which is crazy to say. I mean, it would have been crazy to say at the start of the season. Right? You guys both predicted IA 9th, and you predicted Valur 2nd and 1st, respectively. And to say that IA is 1 point off Valur is ridiculous, but I mean, fair play to IA. Always rated them.
No, I mean, it's fair because like the way you think about the two seasons, Valur have been, not quite good enough, but still, they're, if you look at the top goal scorer list, there's a bunch of Valur players there. Gylfi's been pretty good, and so like they've been, they've not been good enough, but they've still had an okay season. And then you talk about IA, and they've had really good periods, but then they've had these slumps, but they're still equal in points. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, IA have scored significantly fewer goals than Valur, but they've also let in fewer. I guess it's just that, I don't know. They're just two entirely different teams in how they approach things, and I guess the vibe as well means that you can never compare their two seasons. But these are the teams that are looking safe for the split. May I remind everyone, the split is in 3 games' time. IA and Valur looking pretty safe on 32 and 31, given that Fram is in 6th on 26. FH sitting just above them on 29, probably safe as well. It would take a big rake to the face, if you will, for FH to drop the ball in this one, I think. So it really comes down to Fram, Stjarnan, and Kawa in these last 3 games, right? On 26, 5, and 4 points, sort of respectively.
Yeah, I think so. Also because, like, we talked about this when we talk about relegation battles. You can be 5 points, 5 points ahead of the team behind you, but realistically, how long is it going to take for that team to gather those 5 points? When further you go down the table, the longer it takes for those teams to gather those points, and you really have to gather 0 points. Yeah. So you just have to put them into like perspective a little bit. Like you're not 6 points behind a Manchester City who's going to get 6 points in the next 2 games. You're behind a team that might take 4 games to get 2 wins.
Yeah,
and they're running out of tarmac.
But I mean, Kawa are the form champions. That's a lie, because Breiðablik are currently the form champions. In the last 5, Breiðablik have 4 wins and a draw. But Kawa is the only other team that has no losses in their last 5. 2 wins and 3 draws. Stjarnan, 2 wins, a loss and 2 draws. Fram, 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw. I mean, form means nothing, but Kawa are invincible. So they might...
I thought Stjarnan would bounce back from the European exit a bit faster. I'm a little bit less bullish on them. I'm not really sure where this is going. I think FO is safe, but I'm not sure who's getting that last spot. because they all have their games where they're magnificent, and they all have games where they're not.
Yeah.
Kawa is just, I think maybe Kawa, it's more like Kawa getting these draws which aren't really enough anymore. They need wins now.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're getting wins as well, but yeah, they need to win a game like this.
I mean, for sure. But I mean, Kawa are playing from tomorrow at the time of recording, which is a big one. Then they play Breiðablik. Then they play IA, so it's going to be difficult for them. But you never know. I would enjoy seeing Kawa make it, but I do feel like Fram kind of deserve it. They've been steadily chugging along all season, sort of playing pragmatic football, getting results. They kind of deserve it. But I guess tomorrow's game is going to be a huge decider there. Fram beats Kawa there, then that's door closed, I think, on Kawa, rather. But I agree with you on Stjarnan.
Fram have also blown a few of these chances now. They need to also really step it up. They're also running a little bit out of time. They need to get a few wins now and just close this door. I'm a little bit afraid of Fram. I thought Fram would be sort of the solid ones, and I thought maybe Stjarnan would just outrun them with just form and energy, which is not happening. And then Kawa would maybe run out of steam a little bit or not have quite enough time to catch them. But Framar they need to just settle this now. Just beat Kawa 1-0, get it done.
Yeah, amen to that. Then we have the 4 teams that are decidedly not competing for the top half of the split. KR, Vestri, HK, Fylkir. And these teams actually played each other in this round. Vestri played KR and HK played Fylkir. Vestri beat KR 2-0 and Fylkir beat HK 2-0. I mean, this bottom 4 is just completely random, it seems.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have predicted those games the other way, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember how I predicted Vestri KR because we've talked about it like 8 times. But I mean, I'm not super surprised. And I watched the game and, I mean, fair play to Vestri. They just beat them. I mean, 2 goals in the first half, second one right at the death there, which just completely killed it. And KR just had no real answers.
No, and it's a little bit like that with Fylkir, HK as well. Sort of a tight game, and then a Fylkir player got sent off, which seemed to do the exact opposite of what you'd think. Fylkir were sort of buoyed by it all and really took control of the midfield and just drove home the win, while HK dropped off and fell away like little flowers. But then they bounced back in the next game. So yeah, it's just none of these teams have the confidence to do it for more than like 20 minutes. It seems like half an hour maybe.
No. I mean, except if we go there, HK in the following game, when this drama game, HK it was actually played. First of all, we talked about KR. I don't know what the word is there. Sued them. If you translate directly from the Icelandic, for this nonsense with the goal not being ready when the game was about to be kicked off. And I mean, I don't understand the media reaction to this in Iceland. It's the most amateurish thing I've ever seen in my life, perhaps. How they think that, I mean, yes, I'm a KR fan, but they think that this is somehow entitled and ridiculous, and they called it a scandal that KR take issue with this.
I agree.
I mean,
it's
in
sort of
any league in the world, I mean, in the youth league that we coach in, I mean, the game would be forfeit. Any game, anywhere in the world, this would be forfeit. I
think the 2 main issues that people have taken with this seems to be that this issue that KRC have taken with it is that basically the referee and the people in charge decided at the moment that the game would be postponed and not sort of cancelled and awarded to KR. And that seems to be the judgment that the reason why the appeals have gone badly is sort of that's the rules, that if they decided, then that's how it's going to be. which is another discussion. And then it's this thing of like it's not actually the clubs that run these facilities, but it's the municipalities. So that's why you can't take in foreign examples like how I used to try to do with Scandinavia and the whole Start thing in Norway where they got relegated because they forfeited a game because they couldn't heat their stadium and stuff like that. So like and then the Icelandic media were like, oh, you can't talk about this. It's not even the same thing. I get it, but I get it, but it's also like it is your stadium. I'm sorry, but like the game was already postponed by 1 day because of they were doing construction. That's fine. That happens. I maybe planned for it better, but stuff happens. Fine. But then not to be able to do, okay, there's a lot of construction, there's a lot of stuff happening. Let's just walk over this pitch. Like, what if there's still been a hole in the pitch or something, not a broken thing? Like, just be like, okay, well, let's play another time. I think amateurish is a good way to because I don't know. What if this was I don't know. I'm just trying to compare. Like you're having, Vikingur is now going into the Conference League most likely, unless they royally screw this up. And where they might meet teams like Chelsea, and how can you play a game where like, oh, you don't know if the stadium is going to be ready because nobody's really checked it, and it's not really anyone's problem to like, and then now you have to go to Stamford Bridge or something, or Parken in Copenhagen And now they're talking about, Vikingur, like, where they're going to play the games because, like, we can't heat up the national team stadium because it's not underground heated, so we might have to play in Kópavogur or maybe abroad. Like, this discussion comes up every year. It's just, like, it just seems so, like, we're trying to build up this league, and then we have these discussions of, like, we can't have a stadium that's fit for purpose for a league game or a European game or whatever. Yeah, it's I don't know.
I mean, if
I get it, I get why they didn't award Coward 3 points, but this is one of those things after the season. People need to look at this and be like, why did this happen? How do we prevent this from happening again? Because this can't happen again.
No. First of all, the municipality hosting thing. I mean, this is what happens in our league. The municipality is in charge of the pitches and stuff. But if things like this happen on game day, then we are responsible as the home team. That's just it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the municipality. If the goals aren't there for some reason, if I show up and the goals just aren't there, then it's my problem. It's not the municipality's problem, and nobody's going to care.
No.
And if this game had not been a league game set to be played there, but let's say, for the sake of argument, that this had been a European game and this had been a foreign team coming there, do you think that UEFA would have entertained this for a single second?
No.
And postponed this game?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
So how can you have no leg to stand on if all you have to do is change the circumstances of the game ever so slightly for the same team playing a slightly different opponent, and then that this outcome would never, ever happen, then perhaps there's an issue there. I think this is shockingly amateur.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think this as well happened in Iceland, like lower division. They wouldn't just, I mean, they might postpone it, but yeah, I think a lot of the lower, like you said, lower division and then top division, they would have canceled this game, but for some reason in the middle, they would, no, I don't know.
I don't understand, but I mean, if this happens the other way around, if Kauer were the ones committing this sort of error, then I'm saying it live and on the air, then absolutely Kauer should forfeit that game. Like, this is not a team allegiance-based thing. I honestly just think it's amateur hour, and it's one in a host of things that's happened this season that shows that KC and the league itself are just, if they really want to present themselves as a truly like real league, then they're doing a dreadful job of it. And they need to look in the mirror and do something about this. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I mean, you had the Coward was not playing at home. Vestri were not playing at home because their stadiums weren't ready. And then, Coward played their first home game, and everyone agreed the pitch was not good. But both teams, looked at it and could agree that this was what they wanted to play on. But I agree, like if they'd come into Coward Stadium and the pitch was terrible, and and we would agree that we can't play football on this, and there was no other stadium, then it's just okay. That's
just forfeit.
Yeah, no. If you can't provide a place to play a game, that's a very basic thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I think there's some serious meetings that need to take place over the summer, over the winter rather, the Southern Hemisphere summer, if they want this to be taken seriously, because at the moment it's being run, in a way that is just not at the level they want it to be.
It's also just like this has an impact, right? Because like what people were making fun of Coward, and I get it. Like it's Coward are a big team that are in trouble and they might get relegated. So there are a lot of people who are enjoying it, and that's fair enough. I think a lot of Coward fans would have enjoyed it if it was Valur, and
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah, it is objectively funny, but I mean, the Coward brought it up as well. Like Finnur Thomas was supposed to be suspended for the Hauka game, but it got moved to the FV game, which in that instance it worked out for Coward. But this is the relegation battle. This could have been a European battle. Like for FV, it is a European battle. Like this doesn't, and sort of. The result didn't work out for FO, but in that sense, it worked quite well for FO that the player's suspension was moved to their game instead.
Yeah.
What if this had been, another suspension? Like the central defense of Coward isn't the greatest at the moment, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But what if this was Benoni or like a player for Fylkir or Vestri or something, like a huge player, and then you just move the suspension from one game to another. And that means that one team doesn't go to Europe or it gets relegated. People get suspended, but that's not how this was supposed to work. He wasn't supposed to be suspended for the FH game. He was supposed to be suspended for the Vestri game, the Haukar game. Sorry.
Yeah.
And things like this, like same for Haukar. So this has an impact. This isn't just a game that next time you just win the next time. I mean, at some point there is a next time. At some point. Team gets relegated or doesn't go to Europe or goes to Europe and gets a lot of money. Like Vikingur are going to get like 500 million Icelandic kroner for getting into the group stages, or more, 600 million or something, which is not as much as it sounds, but it's that's a lot of money. And like, what if this happened? This thing with FO, and that means they don't go to Europe. Because they weren't planning on they were planning on meeting Finnur Thomas, and they had a very specific plan for Finnur Thomas. They don't win, and then Ia and Valur go to Europe, and then Ia goes to the group stages and earns 500 million, and then or something. I don't know. I think it's amateurish. I think it's this has an impact, and I think people are treating it like it's just a joke, but it's not.
I mean, they're treating it like it's an amateur sort of thing, and that's. That's just the reality of it. It is this sort of that's kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, oh, just move the suspension. Oh, just play it like this. Just do that. It's being organized like a school tournament in that sense, where like they don't actually seem to take themselves seriously, and they don't take their league and their product or whatever seriously, and that's just it. It's the sort of thing it's being handled like something that is your day job, where in the evening when you go home to watch Inspector Morse or whatever with your wife, at the end of the day you don't even think about it, where it's just your day job, you don't care. That's how it's being handled. It's just like, oh yeah, whatever, this works. Like there's clearly an effort by some people to try to boost the credibility and the visibility and the quality of this league and Icelandic football, and this is not being reflected at the highest level.
No.
And it hasn't ever been reflected by KC, let me say, ever. And the league organizers as well are seriously dropping the ball. I think it's just, and yeah, I don't know.
No, I think it's, if we can beat Santa Coloma, spoiler alert, fairly heavily, and people it's an Andorran team, and I mean, the same would have happened if it was, when people get through Kosovo or these sort of smaller nations, especially Eastern Europe, like, oh, of course we're supposed to beat them, because, then they hear this, like, imagine if they were playing one of the Albanian teams, the Icelandic teams played this year, and then they would hear this, like, oh, the last game that Ignatia was playing got got postponed because the goal was broken and like they couldn't play, so that's why they didn't play this weekend. Like you would just laugh at this and be like, oh yeah, well it's Albania or something.
Exactly.
So like, and then like Iceland, and then they're trying to think that oh, this would never happen. Like this doesn't happen here, and like, oh, there's no corruption. Like I'm not saying there's corruption, but like it is a form of corruption, right? Like it's just sort of more of a, instead of someone handing someone money, it's apathetic corruption. Does that exist? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it is an influence. Yeah, it's sort of an insidious influence on the game that has nothing to do with what actually should be influencing the game, and it's because of specifically the people in charge and their attitude towards things and their lack of whatever. So yeah, not the first time that I've taken issue with the sort of authorities in Icelandic football, and probably not the last, but something has to be done if this league is going to be taken seriously, and if people from the outside want to look at this and think like, oh yeah, this is a real up and comer.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, Coward lost that game, and deservedly so, to be honest. Like there was a disallowed goal, which I don't see how in the world that was disallowed, but I'd see that as much less of a problem than this, because referees make mistakes. I'm not happy about it. I don't think anyone's happy about it in the Coward camp. I think the rest of Iceland is very happy about it. It seems like, if you go on Twitter, but that's fine. That's sports. I'm not the biggest fan of VAR, so I'd rather have this than some of this stuff. But I like, my point was more like that's part of the game. To be honest, they deserve to lose. It would have been insanely lucky if they gotten a winner late on there. I don't think they deserved it after that second half performance. Hauka showed a lot of guts, which I didn't think they had after that Fylkir game. I thought they were, and after the Fylkir Hauka game, I thought they were done. I thought they were so apathetic and lacking in fight that Fylkir could just take over with 10 men. So very impressive. And two players who were recently playing in the 4th division of Iceland, sinking Coward in 30 minutes is a good indication of where Coward are at the moment. But yeah, very good job from Hauka, and deservedly back in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. The first Hauka goal was amazing. It was a really good shot. The second goal, the commentators were really losing themselves over that cross, and I thought the cross was fine. It was a cross. It was sort of brought it into the mixture from a little bit deeper than the normal cross, and not a terrible cross, but good God, it should not have hit a striker. I mean, come on, guys. They're dreadful from Coward. But I mean, perfectly serviceable cross and then a great finish. And just the mentality differences there. I mean, Hauka took a bit of a beating in the first half and come out swinging in the second. Coward, I don't know, just dreadful in the second half. But I guess I don't know what it shows. Things are different for different people. But so that puts, it keeps the bottom 4 very, if we want to go back to what our discussion was originally of the table, it keeps the bottom 4 extremely open. Coward on 18, Vestri Hauka on 17, Fylkir on 16. I have to say, I was kind of happy to see Vestri beat Coward. It's a weird thing. Because first of all, I thought they deserved it. And second of all, I just really want them to stay in the league. Really would like them to stay. So I was willing to take that one. But yeah, it kind of, the whole Coward losing to Hauka made it less sweet, because now things are very dangerous for all the teams, and I don't know how it's going to go. I feel like it's impossible to predict.
Yeah, I think anyone who says they know what 2 teams are going down. Yeah, I mean, you can try to tweet us, let us know now what teams are going down, and then we'll take receipts. I mean, they have a decent guess. It's only 4 teams, right? But yeah, it's a guess at this point. I mean,
there's a 1 in 6 that you randomly guess the 2 that you think are going to either stay or drop. So it's not that impressive, but it's not nothing. But if you can predict the final positions and the point totals, then we'll give you a shout out for sure. For sure, you'll get a shout out. You can even maybe guest feature on the podcast. Yeah, that's that. All in all, the table's quite sort of open. There's a 2-horse race at the top. There's a couple of safe teams for the split. There's a sort of three-way fight there for sixth place, and then like 4 at the bottom are just sort of wrestling in the mud in the dark, trying to just do something. So it's going to be an interesting few games before the split. But I mean, I guess the stuff before the split is largely interesting for the sixth place thing. But it's all interesting. We talked about Vikingur. Yeah, we didn't say how. We said they beat them convincingly. It was 5-0 at home, even though they missed 2 penalties.
Yeah, this was as convincing as it's been for Vikingur. I mean, not just the scoreline, but just the performance. There was never any doubt, really. So yeah, this one time you can, all the prejudice of facing an Andorran team, it was true this time. But yeah, they actually need to they need to make sure they win the return leg for the coefficient point, because that's how football works now. It's all about coefficients and money pools and stuff. So yeah, they need to keep winning, because they most likely will not get too many wins in the league group. This whole league thing that's going to start, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what sort of teams they're going to face, but I don't know.
No.
So my point is they need to win that game, because we don't know how many more wins they're going to get this season in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. So good luck Vikingur there for sure. When is that game?
To Thursday next week.
Thursday next week, folks. Heard it here first. Maybe. The 3 stars of the round, we might as well go there. First of all, there's an honorary star to give out to Eiður Gauti for scoring 2. I mean, he's one of the players that you were talking about who were playing in the 4th division. I mean, he's 25. The commentators were going quite hard about him being born in 99, which, I mean, it does sound impressive. And for me as well, it says like, oh my God, these kids. But he is 25.
He's not a 17-year-old or anything.
No, but a great performance, and it is good to see these players coming up from much lower divisions and coming up and doing very well. And he did do very, very well. Like I said, the first goal was great. The second goal was a very nice finish, and he caused a lot of problems for Coed.
And I don't think it's a fluke. Yeah, exactly. He played really well, and he played fairly well against Fylkir of anyone. Like, I don't think Kauka played well against Fylkir, but he was one of those players that stood out, and you thought, like, okay, this kid was the 4th division. And then he followed that up with that performance. So yeah, I guess this is sort of a precedent we set, that if it's not technically this round, they shouldn't get. I don't know. I'm not sure this is a hard and fast rule, but for now, this is what we're doing.
Honorary star. We'll say he'll earn himself a proper star soon. He's a modern day Jamie Vardy. So surely he's going to keep earning. But the first real star is going to go to Elmar Atli at Vestri for an assist and a goal. And what was the first home win of the season in Ísafjörður. Just a good performance, and yeah, I mean, deserved win.
For sure.
There.
The second one, it's a bit hard to pick because Fylkir were not super great in the first half, but I think once the second half sort of started, and especially once they got the red card, that whole midfield, Ragnar Bragi, Emil Ásmunds, and the much disputed Matthias Prest, all those three did really well. I think Emil Ásmunds is the one we're going to pick for the second star. He opened the scoring, was a driving force in the midfield that sort of overran Haukar in the last 10 minutes. I think he played really well. I think he played pretty okay defensively as well in the first section of the game. But yeah, it's when it really counted, he came up for them. So really good performance.
Absolutely. And the third star, we were going to give it to Henrik Harðarsson. I mean, he had 2 assists there in the win against Víkingur, which is a huge contribution. Played very well, and I guess kind of sort of star by accumulation.
Yeah.
Just for having an excellent first season in top division. I mean, he's 20 years old and he's attracting interest abroad, largely from Norway stuff. So it's just someone we haven't really shouted out before, but a great player.
Yeah, for sure. He's done really well. He's formed, I think, someone someone described him and Victor Jonsson as having Eiður Guðjónsson, Victor Hasselbank kind of partnership. That's interesting description, but yeah, I think that they're forming quite a nice. They've done quite well together up there. So yeah, it'll be sad to see him go, but I think he's a really exciting player.
You think he's going to go in the off season?
I think they'd be very unhappy. I don't think they want to let him go. I think they'd rather try to let him go in January or something, especially if it's Norway. Like they can sell him in January, maybe. But, so I think they do everything they can to keep a hold of him. But we'll see if there's a good enough offer. Maybe he decides it's time.
Yeah, perhaps. Let's look ahead at the games. So they do start tomorrow. Perhaps today, if you're listening tomorrow. Tomorrow being the 25th of August. Valur playing Vestri. God, how I would love to see Vestri win there. That would be amazing. No offense to Valur. But it would be great. I really want Vestri to stay in the league. This is my dream. Yep, playing Breiðablik. This is a big one, actually, I would say, because EA are on a roll, but so are Breiðablik. And if Breiðablik really want to compete for the title, these are the sorts of games they need to win.
Yeah.
So this is a real big one, and it's in Akranes. So Breiðablik really need to show up there. Then we have Fram Kawa, which we talked about earlier, which is a huge game for the split, possibly the hugest of the split deciders.
Yeah.
But it's in Fram, in Reykjavik, I guess. So perhaps Fram will be able to grind out the victory there. Then we have Fylkir FH. I mean, you would assume FH are going to win, but if Fylkir managed to take it, that opens things up in the middle a little bit more. And then we have Stjarnan HK, which is going to go however that goes. We have one postponed game, which is KR Víkingur, postponed because of Víkingur's European adventure, obviously. So we won't see that game until 3 weeks from now, on the 13th of September.
Yeah, there was an interview with Óskar about that, because when he was the manager of Breiðablik last season, he asked for Víkingur to postpone their match, exactly this sort of game in between two European ties for the last round, and that was denied by Víkingur. And this year, KSI made the decision, so they didn't even consult KR. They just made the decision to postpone it, which he didn't complain about. He said it would be quite silly of me to complain about something that if it's being done better this year than last year. So it's fair enough. But so that's one thing KSI did well, I guess.
Is this the sort of thing that the other team really should have ever gotten a say in? I don't think so.
No, I think it's more like no, I agree. I think this should have just been handled by the FA last year. But this is a little bit this thing of this Icelandic mentality of everyone. It's a little bit what Arnar Gunnlaugs also talked about, this sort of transfer, what we talked about in the transfer window closing, that people get offended or sort of their backs put up when they get a transfer offer for one of their players. I get it that everyone knows everyone. People, come from the same, they've grown up together. They've probably played a lot together. They, meet each other every Saturday and Sunday and whatever. But at the end of the day, you're trying to do your best for your team. You don't want to be an asshole about it. You don't want to step on anyone on your way to the top. But you're not trying to help other people. So there's just some things that the FA needs to step in and not let people handle internally.
Yeah. So. Shout out to KSI for the first time ever. I don't joke. So that's that. A lot of exciting stuff happening tomorrow and Monday and on the 13th of September. So stay tuned. Stay engaged on Twitter and on Instagram at Besta English for these listener polls and things that we put out there in order to engage. It's good to hear what people think. And if there's any talking points that you have, please send them our way. We're happy to entertain any nonsense that you may have. Yeah. So just enjoy the football, enjoy your weekend, and see you later.
Thank you for joining, and bless.
Bye.